When you leave a penguin colony, it doesn't only mean physical distance. It also means giving up shared warmth. You have to face Antarctica's harsh winds alone, and yet those penguins walk away. You left too, didn't you? Maybe in a different way. Not physically, but emotionally. You left home. Maybe you found yourself after letting go of the things that made you feel safe. Communities, routines, your family's expectations. Or maybe the opposite. You held on to them so tightly that you forgot who you are. And this is where the contradiction begins. The thing that protects you also traps you. The warmth of the colony keeps you alive, but it also shapes your identity. One day you wake up, surrounded by people, yet alone. You are safe, but you feel lost. Psychology calls this adaptive independence, meaning you sacrifice your real self in order to survive. As a child, this made sense. Approval from your parents, acceptance from your friends, support from your teacher. These were not just emotional rewards, they were survival signals. Your brain learned the pattern. If you adapt, you are loved. If you are loved, you are safe. But now you're grown, and you're still using the same mechanism. You still wonder whether you'll be accepted. You still decide how to present yourself before entering a room. You still silence your inner voice before saying yes. And this behavior slowly drains you, quietly. You first understand yourself by learning what you should be. As a child, your identity was not independent. It was relational. You gathered information about yourself through your parents' reactions. If you received approval by staying quiet, silence became part of your identity. If you were loved for being outgoing, being introverted became a subtle threat. John Bowlby's attachment theory explains this clearly. The child sees themselves in the caregiver's psychological reflection. But if that reflection is distorted or conditional, you grow up with a distorted self. Instead of "I am good," you learn "I am good if I look good." Instead of "I am lovable," you learn "Am I lovable when I behave a certain way?" The brain wires this into neural pathways. Every approval, every rejection, the connections strengthen. That's how neuroplasticity works. The most used paths become highways. If you always walk the adapt path, it becomes automatic. The be real path slowly disappears. Donald Winnicott called this the false self. When a child realizes their real needs won't be met, they create a performance self, a self designed to protect, please, and adapt. The false self is very effective for survival. It avoids conflict, keeps relationships stable, makes you predictable. But it has one problem. It isn't you, the true self. What Winnicott called the true self is spontaneous, creative, and fragile. It doesn't care about being correct or accepted. It only wants to exist. But for the true self to emerge, there must be safety. If you never had that space or lost it too early, the true self retreats. It stays inside, and the false self takes control. Time passes, and one day you realize your life doesn't feel like your own story. You feel like you're playing a role, maybe a good performance, but still a role. Leon Festinger's theory of cognitive dissonance says we cannot hold two conflicting beliefs at the same time. The brain doesn't tolerate that. So one belief must change. But what if both are true? What if I don't want this, and I have to do this are both real? The brain usually accepts the second one because it feels safer. The first feels risky. So over time, you start reshaping your feelings. I don't want this becomes I never really wanted it anyway. This makes me uncomfortable becomes I'm exaggerating. This is called adaptive preference formation. In short, you learn not to want what you can't have. The result? Fragmented identity. You develop layers. On the outside, the everything is fine self. In the middle, the it's not fine but I'm managing self. And at the core, the I don't know who I am self. These layers don't communicate because that dialogue would be painful. As Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. When you suppress authentic feelings, they don't disappear. They transform into anxiety, depression, or the most subtle form, a hollow sense of success. You may think you did everything right. You graduated, got promoted, got married, and look happy. But inside, there is a voice saying, "This is not my life. This is someone else's script, and I'm just acting." Existential philosophers call this bad faith. Sartre said, "You lie to yourself. You adopt a role to escape being human. Because being human, being free, having to choose, is terrifying. The colony is safe. The colony is warm. But inside the colony, you are absent." Nietzsche saw this long ago. He called it herd morality. The crowd tells you what to think, how to feel, and what to value, and you obey. Obedience is easy. Creating your own values takes courage. But the herd has a problem. It doesn't love individuals. It loves function. You are protected as long as you are a useful penguin. The moment you become useless, sick, injured, or changed, you are forgotten. Because the herd doesn't love you. It loves conformity. Losing your soul doesn't happen suddenly. It's gradual. It starts with small compromises. It's not a big deal. Just this once. I'm overreacting. Then they accumulate. And one day you look in the mirror and see a face you don't recognize. Familiar, yes, but also foreign. Psychology calls this self-alienation. Your inner connection breaks. You no longer know what you feel, or what you want, or whether you can trust yourself. And the worst part, you don't explain this to others. From the outside, everything looks fine. You are the successful penguin, the adapted penguin, the good penguin. But inside, there is a silent scream. When you grow up with a false self, adulthood forms certain patterns. They are not mistakes, just survival strategies, but they no longer serve you. Relational hiding. In relationships, you can't show your real self. You perform what your partner wants, not just romantically, but with friends, family, and at work. You constantly adjust. Is this version of me acceptable? If the answer is no, you change. As a result, no one truly knows you. They only know your performance. Constant need for approval. Saying no feels dangerous. Because as a child, no meant loss of safety. So you say yes to everything. But every yes to others is a no to yourself. Eventually, you stop feeling your own needs because you forgot how. Achievement addiction. You try to prove your worth through success because you learned you are loved when you are good. So you keep doing more productive, more perfect, but it's never enough. What you're searching for can't come from outside. It must come from inside. But you lost that voice. Emotional suppression. You learned emotions are dangerous. When you expressed them, you were punished or ignored. Now you suppress them. Decision paralysis. You struggle to make decisions because you don't trust your inner compass. You keep looking outward. What should I do? What's right? But no one can answer. It's your life. The inner critic. There is a voice constantly judging you. Not good enough. Too much. Too sensitive. Too demanding. These are internalized voices. Once external, now yours. And worst of all, you started believing them. The unlearning process. Healing doesn't start by learning something new. It starts by forgetting old lies. That your worth depends on achievement. That love is conditional. That safety comes from obedience. That your identity must stay fixed. These were imposed on you. They are not truths, but they became real in your nervous system. And that's why forgetting is harder than remembering. Your inner child is still there, still waiting, asking, is there anyone who will accept me as I am? The answer is, you. Inner child work isn't about changing the past. It's about changing the message the past gave you. You rewrite the sentences you heard as a child. Don't speak. Don't want too much. What's wrong with you? You replace them with, I hear you. Your feelings matter. You are allowed to exist. These simple phrases create massive change. Because maybe for the first time, you're giving yourself permission, not from outside, from within. Jung said, if you do not make the darkness conscious, it will enter your life and you will call it fate. Shadow work means facing the parts you rejected. Anger, need, jealousy, selfishness. These are not evil, they are human. But when denied, they grow in the dark and control you. Shadow work asks, what am I angry about but can't say? What do I need but refuse to ask for? What am I afraid of? The answers won't be comfortable, but they will free you. Healing doesn't require perfection or consistency. It requires wholeness. Wholeness means allowing contradictions. You can be strong and fragile, independent and needy, confident and lost. Radical authenticity asks, what happens if I'm not accepted? And then slowly living that truth. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will support you. Some will leave. That hurts. But for the first time, your life will feel like yours. Not a performance. Not borrowed. Yours. A penguin that leaves the colony doesn't immediately die. Maybe it walks alone on the ice. Maybe it freezes in the storm. But it does something crucial. It chooses its own direction. The colony guarantees survival, not life. To truly live means taking risk. Risk of being alone, of making mistakes, of being rejected. But that risk is also a door back to yourself. You are a penguin too. You can stay in the colony or lose yourself inside it. Both have a cost, but only one gives you freedom. The question is simple. Will you choose warmth or yourself, the colony or the truth? The answer isn't easy, but you know it. You always did. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day in a quiet moment, in the middle of the crowd, you will feel it, that familiar emptiness, that hidden loneliness. And in that moment, you will choose, return and adapt, or move forward and risk getting lost. Both are frightening, but only one is you. And the truth is, the penguin that leaves the colony doesn't always stay alone. Sometimes it finds another penguin, far away, walking in the same direction, facing the same storm, asking the same question. And in that moment, they understand. Belonging doesn't come from conformity. It comes from being seen. Your journey has already started. Maybe you don't notice it. Maybe you deny it. But right now, you are watching this video, hearing these words, and something inside you recognizes them. That's enough to begin. In Antarctica, some penguins walk kilometers away from the colony. Scientists don't know why. Maybe they are lost. Maybe they went mad. Or maybe, just maybe, they finally found themselves. Which penguin will you be?